Afternoon, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about why you shouldn't buy the new DJI Rs2 or the Rs2 or any other gimbal for that matter. So let's jump straight in. Okay, so as I say, today we're talking about why you shouldn't buy any gimbal, and especially not the two new gimbals by DJI, the Rs2 or the Rs2. Now I'm well aware this might be a bit rich coming from someone that's just bought a DJI Ronin SC, well, bought it a few months back now, but let me explain why. Okay, so the point I want to talk about today is, do you need it? And I know, stick with me, I know that sounds really stupid, but do you actually need a gimbal? And we're going to go through what I mean by that and why you might not actually need it. So if you're like me and you've just seen the new lineups come out and you're like, ooh, that's a shiny new piece of kit that looks really good, and like the sales video does an absolutely amazing job at convincing you as to why you need this new gimbal, you may well be in the position where you're considering investing in this gimbal, or maybe selling your previous gimbal and getting this one if you've already got a gimbal, or investing in your first ever gimbal and going for these. Now do not get me wrong, these gimbals look absolutely incredible and I am sure they are absolutely insane pieces of kit. But when I say do you really need it, is there's a few factors as to why you might not. So do you need it or do you want it? Let's be honest, if you're just making YouTube videos, do you need a gimbal or do you want a gimbal because it looks like it'll be cool? Yeah, they're amazing. They will up your cinematic quality if that's what you're trying to do. They can up your filmmaking and make you look more professional, both in the footage you're giving out and the fact that you look kind of cool holding a gimbal. If you're like me and you're not making any money from YouTube, you're just making these videos for fun, there doesn't really need to be that level of cinematics in the videos, you might not need it. If you're beginning out in filmmaking and you think that this would be a great purchase for your kit and it'll be a really good idea for you to get a gimbal and increase your cinematic feel, you might be tempted then as well. So I'm literally describing myself here. I don't need them for I don't need it for my YouTube videos. I do use it for some of my YouTube videos because I want that level of quality, but I don't need it by a long slot. And my filmmaking hobby-wise, also probably don't need it, probably because you use just handheld footage and get stable shots in other means. But for me specifically, I wanted it for my filmmaking for clients, because I wanted to up the production value that I'm giving to my clients, and I wanted to have a better overall cinematic look. And I feel like for me, stable footage is more the style I like. For my work, I'm not a massive fan of handheld footage. So that being said, taking myself into example, I probably don't need this gimbal. I wanted this gimbal. I probably would have been better for me to invest in lighting or audio or stuff like that, but I justified it in the fact that investing in it will up my quality of filmmaking, therefore landing me more clients, therefore it's paying for itself, and ultimately once it's paid off, it's in making me money. So when the new RSC2 was announced, that was immediately like, ooh, that looks really good, ooh. But I'm also very aware I'm still massive newbie to this gimbal. There is so much I have to learn about it, and this is a concept that I like for all camera kit and all tech really, is you don't need to upgrade until you've squeezed everything you can learn out of it. And if I went and got an RSC2, I'm going to be sat at the exact same place I am with this one. I'm just going to be putting a camera on it. I'm going to be putting a camera on it and be getting the same shots. It's got all this new tech, but I will still be using it in the same way because I'm still learning how to use it. So I don't need to, and if you're in the same position, you probably don't need to either. However, if you are at a point, if you're already using gimbals, if you're already using them in your workflow, if you're wanting to invest in your first gimbal and you've justified it, you need it, it's going to make your footage amazing, go get it. It looks so sick, and the price point on these gimbals now for the amount of tech in them is absolutely insane. But in a very specific circumstance that you are like me, you'll just want it because it looks cool and shiny and it looks like a cool piece of kit that might improve your filmmaking, you probably don't need it. Focus on the other areas first and then invest. Probably something I should have done, but at the exact same time, I'm so happy I've got it. I've done multiple jobs of this already, and I've only had it for a few months, and the quality of the production that I've developed from those jobs would not be anywhere near as high if I was doing it handheld. And as I say, smooth footage suits my style more, in my opinion, for jobs. My vlogs and stuff, I like it to be rough, I like it to be more hands-on, and so I wouldn't really use it for vlogs, but I didn't get it for vlogs. I had full justification why, and yeah. So one last thing before I leave you is a little tip that I use for when I'm thinking about buying new camera purchases is the 3 strike rule. So if you have 3 separate jobs, occasions, scenarios, whatever, where you're like, I need a gimbal, this would make this 10 times easier, make it look better, whatever. It's a legitimate justification that you need it, and it would have made this specific job, as I say, easier or overall a better production quality, and that happens 3 times, then I buy it. That's why I did this gimbal. I had 3 different occasions when I was like, I could massively use this right now, it would be massively helpful, it would make this easier, it would make this look better. I had 3 strikes, and that's when I then decided I'm going to commit and I'm going to get this gimbal. So you could argue that I don't need it, you could also argue that I do need it, but either way, I have it, I'm using it, it's amazing, and yeah. So if you're interested in a review on the DJI Ronin SC, the original version, drop a comment down below, let me know, and we can probably make that happen. But yeah, I hope you found this video interesting, I hope you found it helpful, I hope it helps you decide whether or not you're going to get a gimbal and whether you're going to get one of the new ones, because now that the new one's out, these ones will be cheaper, and there isn't masses of difference unless you're travelling a lot, because then the SC does fold. The SC2 folds, and that looks like it'd be massively helpful. But as always, do research into kit before you buy it. This was no means a yes or no, you should buy this and why. If you're interested in any kit and buying it, research first. Yeah, there's also a link down below to the DJI Ronin SC if you're interested in having a look at that. So yeah, that's all for this video. Don't forget to take the shot, like the video if you found it interesting, subscribe to see more of the content, all the other stuff that you should be able to do, and I will see you next time. Peace.